day to start to paint our cakes. Since we're using watercolors, before you actually paint your cake, you've got to make any necessary corrections that I asked you to do in your feedback from last time, and then we'll trace it. So make sure, just a reminder, that these lines always stay pointing in the same direction. So the right side goes up, then all of these go up so that the lines that are inside are facing the same way. Make sure you've erased anything that is see-through. And once you've done those corrections, you can start tracing it with your black crayon. Remember, push hard with your black crayon. Keep going so that you're burnishing with this and basically creating yourself a coloring page that will be a lot easier to paint, which is why I asked you to draw so large to begin with, so that we could make sure that we were filling the space and that everything with pencil is gonna get filled in. And the black crayon helps create almost like a wall to keep your paint separate. So when you try to paint this layer like a red and this layer your brown, they don't mix together. So it is super important that you push really hard. Everything gets traced. Including your whipped cream dollops. You'll know you're pushing hard when you hear that sound of the wax pulling up off the paper. It makes like a snapping sound. If you trace nicely, you probably will not need to go back and erase, but if you can see your pencil lines, you may want to try to do that without smearing it. Like I went outside the lines a little bit right here in my leaf, so I'm just gonna very carefully just try to erase part of that line so that it doesn't look so bright. Now that I have this erased, it's time for me to practice my browns. So we just learned that complementary colors mix to make brown. The problem that we have is the watercolor set that the county bought us. Some complementary colors make better browns than others. So the best place to test out your colors is actually on your practice paper. So move your final out of the way and then try to see if you can make a good brown that you like. Get some water, and what I like to do is mix it directly onto my paper for some. So try to practice. If I take this yellow first and see if I paint inside of one of these layers with my yellow, do the hula, get my opposite color and put this on top and swirl these two colors around, you can see it's making like a light, like caramel color. That could be quite nice. I want to see if I like what happens when I mix my red and my green together. So get your red, maybe try a different layer. Since this is practice, it doesn't matter what side I'm painting. I'm just trying to make my colors. Do the hula, clean off your brush, get your opposite color, red and green are opposites, and mix them. You can see that the red and the green are swirling together to make a little bit of a better chocolate color. I kind of like that color. The blue, like I said, is a little different. So start with your orange, and you're gonna notice right away that you might not like this one. The orange is not as intense as the blue. So the blue becomes quite overpowering. You only need a little dot, but notice that does not really make a brown. It makes like a neutral green. You might like that color, but it doesn't quite work for chocolate. Once you've decided which color combination you like for your chocolate, that's when you're gonna mix a lot of it. And to do that, you are going to use the white lid of your tray. And I wanted to make quite a bit of chocolate here. I wanted to make all my layers inside the cake this chocolate color. So I think I like the red and the green combination first. So I'm gonna get a lot of red. And in my lid, I'm petting the color and putting the color on the lid of my tray because I wanna make sure I'm making enough of this color to paint everything I need with. So I'm getting it on my brush, putting it on my tray. I wanna occasionally do the hula to get more water on my brush so I can get more color. And remember, you wanna make a lot of this. So I'm putting quite a bit, petting the color a lot, putting it over here. Petting the color a lot, putting it over here. Occasionally going, cleaning my brush off, getting more water on it, because every time I do this, I'm making the color more intense. It's gonna be more vibrant, more bright. When I am done with that, that's when I can go in, do the hula. I'm gonna get my green, but this time I'm gonna take the green while it's on my brush and mix it on here. This lets me see the color that I'm creating and see if I like that caramelly chocolate color that I'm making. If I need a little bit more of one color, I can go back and add some more. More green will make it darker. And then if I wanna test out that color, I test it on my piece. You can see I made it even better brown this time that I really like. So I'm gonna decide where does that brown need to go. I'm gonna make it on my chocolate covered strawberry. So using the tip of my brush, I am painting, tiptoeing around where that chocolate sauce is going to become. So I want to do it on the top of my strawberries. So I'm taking my time just to paint the brown parts today. Picking the color up. Notice I'm not getting more water on my brush because that's just going to make the color a little bit lighter. Making that delicious brown. And then I think I'm going to take, since I have a lot of this color left, I'm actually going to paint the side brown because I'm going to make the top layer a little bit of a different color. So I'm taking this color, spreading it around. Notice since I'm spreading it in a smaller space up here and then in a larger space down here, the color slightly changes, but it makes a really pretty chocolate looking brown using my red and green complementary colors. Tiptoeing around my edges first, then going in the middle. If you want to, you could even make a second brown. Do the hula and do the same thing that we practiced before, but this time using a different color. So I'm going to start with my yellow, loading my brush up, trying to get a lot of that color over here. I need to make enough maybe to paint my cake layers. So loading up that color, occasionally cleaning my brush off, getting that. Then when I feel like I'm done, I get just a little bit of that purple, swirl that in, I can test it out. It got a nice little caramel. I might want a little bit darker. Test it out. I like that color better. And then the inside layer can have that pretty caramelly tannish brown. So you can see they make a lot of it different. Test out your blue and orange because the Crayola color doesn't work doesn't mean your colors don't work. If you've got praying watercolors, they make awesome browns because their blue and their orange are the same intensity. If you are like me and you're starting to run out of that color that you painted, mine's almost empty, I can take my color from one of these sections, pick it up with my brush and spread it to another section. So we're only focusing on the browns today. All this other stuff we are going to do next class period. Set this in a safe place where it can dry, and we'll focus on the rest of this stuff next time.